It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day and welcome to the program. I'm Brad Miller, and we're happy to welcome into studio today Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson. Chief is here, and he's going to talk about something coming up that many of you maybe you're wondering about or want to find out a bit more about, and that is the ballot issue, Chief, the GO bonds, General Obligation Bond.
Yeah, that's correct.
Verde Valley District is out for bond.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we are, the Verde Valley Fire Board has called for a general election this November, on November 4th. It's a mail-in ballot election. And what we have on the ballot this year is a general obligations bond for the Verde Valley Fire District.
Okay, I'm going to ask you really basic questions because you know what's going on and I don't. What is that? What's a GO bond? General obligation bond means what?
So a general obligations bond is a loan taken by the fire district for the purpose of making capital purchases for infrastructure, for buildings. This money is restricted and it can't be used for personnel costs. It can't be used for pension costs. It can't be used for anything other than capital purchases that we need to make for the district to either better serve the district or improve our capacities or fix failing infrastructure that we have.
I know you've been doing a series of public presentations, and you sent me some of the information about it. It's very well done of why it's there. And I'm going to tell you, some of these numbers kind of rattled me, and I thought, okay. And I know you're making the case or just explaining to people why these are needed. You're not taking this lightly. There are certain things that almost are essential for you to be able to do your jobs the right way.
Yeah, we're out educating our members and educating our community members to understand what we're asking for, the why of why we're asking for it, and just the constraints that we're up against. So, some of the things of the why that we need this bond is, we've had an increase in call volume over the past years as the area has grown and population has increased. It increases the demand on call volumes. Some of the other things is just rising costs of the goods that we use, the equipment that we use to meet the public's needs and protect the public, and just some of the inflationary costs that we're up against. Just like we're very aware of the inflation and how it's affecting our residents and how it's affecting society in general. Yeah. But the fire district is also affected by the inflationary costs.
Yeah, you're not immune to that. I want to read a couple of these, and this is straight from your presentation. Over 10 years, July 2015 to July 2025, workers' compensation increased 241%. Now, the GO bond wouldn't address that directly, but it would alleviate some other financial burdens by helping with the infrastructure you're talking about.
That's great insight. That's pretty good.
Is that right?
It's spot on.
Okay.
So, like what we're up against is just our daily cost of doing business. We statutorily have to provide workers' compensation insurance to protect our firefighters if they get hurt or injured or lose their life. And those costs, just like a lot of other costs of insurance, are going up. And when we have a rise in those costs, it affects our operating dollars, right? And so that's why it limits our ability to fund these larger capital projects, because our operational dollars are getting eaten up by some of the rising employee costs and some of the other costs that are continuing to go up, like the turnouts that we wear, the protective equipment that our firefighters wear that go into the fires. Those have gone up 65%. The cost of our fire engines.
I was reading through it. It's insane. The turnouts that you just talked about, 65%. That's crazy number. Everything else that we assume or associate with the fire department that is functioning and is serving the public properly and efficiently is in triple-digit inflationary.
Yeah, and the one that really drives me crazy and is the cost of our fire engines.
Yeah.
When I started in this business, we were not paying anywhere near what we're having to pay for a fire truck these days, and the cost of metals, the cost of engines, the cost of production, all the different things that go into a fire truck, because there's so many different components to it. And our fire trucks have gone up 128%. A fire truck just off the street, basic fire truck right now is $1 million.
Good. goodness.
And that's unheard of from where I started 25 years ago in this industry. We were
Is
paying.
that because there's a lot of technology on board now that wasn't?
Yeah, just like anything, there's technology, there is emissions requirements, there is NFPA standards that we have to meet, and just the cost of metal. National Fire Protection Association standards. There's certain safety measures that have to be put into a fire truck that protect the community and protect our firefighters. So there's a lot of constraints and things that we have to meet that we have no control over. And so we would love to have cheaper fire trucks, but unfortunately, that's not the world that we're living in, and we don't get to control necessarily the cost of our fire truck. So we're up against it with that.
That's just nuts. That's going to bite into kind of everything from the top on the down. See, now I didn't know this when I started looking at this, but if you think about what you just kind of talked about, some of those inflationary costs, some of these are parallel to, like, say, a family of four. If food costs go up, the basics, the operating costs of your family, food costs go up, say gasoline, heating oil in the wintertime and all of that kind of stuff, you're never going to get that new car. Or even a used car, especially if it's $1 million and can put out fires. But you know what I'm saying, and I know you do, but I'm using that to help illustrate for people like me in the audience that if the bottom line keeps getting risen, well, then those things that help the family function, the fire department function, are going to be out of reach.
And it's kind of unique, and it's special that you use the word family, because our fire service and the fire department is like a family because we run out of a house. Right, all the same costs that you have for electricity, for goods, we have to keep our firehouse up and running, and all of those costs are going up as well, and we're absorbing those costs as well, which is eating into our ability to build that capital dollars. What the bond is going to address to be able to have those capital dollars to address some of these infrastructure needs and struggles that we're having.
I know that key to any successful emergency department, police, fire, ambulance, whatever it may be, is communication. And I thought I saw in here and somewhere in my notes that there's going to be a part of these GO bonds would go toward outfitting additional communication or improving what you have, or maybe a little of both.
Yeah, so absolutely. So one of the things that's unique, and it's not just unique to Verde Valley Fire District, meeting with Cottonwood PD and Cottonwood Fire and Copper Canyon Fire and in Sedona and all the areas, our infrastructure for communications is aging. It's way outdated. Some of the infrastructure that we have is pre 9/11 technology. And if you remember 9/11, we learned a lot about emergency communications in that event. And some of our infrastructure and some of our technology is pre 9/11. And not only some of it is pre 9/11, but some of it is also not working. And if you look on the presentation, we do have the presentation available for people to go view on our website, verdevalleyfire.org. The presentation is there, and you can see some of the graphics that we have that shows what the current state of our emergency communications system is. There is gigantic holes in this entire region where your firefighters cannot communicate with each other or with alarm room to get the equipment and the people necessary on the scene to mitigate the emergency.
And that's bad for everybody. It's bad for the people suffering the emergency, and especially dangerous for your guys.
Yeah, especially. There's areas behind in Cornville and Page Springs. There's areas north of Clarkdale where we can't communicate, and we've had some major incidents out there where we cannot communicate with alarm room to call for the additional resources. Last summer, we had a brush fire down the bottom of Page Springs, and in the middle of the brush fire, we had a head-on collision due to all the smoke. So we were running a head-on vehicle collision as well as a brush fire, and we could not ask the alarm room for more resources because our radios didn't work.
Wow. And that's topography. We've got hills and mountains and valleys and all that around here. Can that be resolved by?
Some of it's topography, and some of it's just fixing infrastructure that's not working. On our website, we do have the graph that just shows by the difference between fixing what we have and by putting new infrastructure into what we have, the difference that it would make in the coverage, and it is drastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, here, you and I are sitting in a room full of electronics, and I think I can relate, to what you're talking about, and we're operating on a level. Nobody could lose their life or become injured because if one of our pieces of equipment goes out. It's critical, and the Verde Valley Fire Department is looking for general obligation bond issue. It's on the ballots. Some of those, I think, are in the mail as we speak, and will be coming to you, and the chief is just trying to explain what this is, what it isn't. And are there more presentations coming up yet?
We don't have any more public presentations.
Okay.
We try to get all the public presentations out before the ballots went out this week.
You bet.
Just so the voters had an opportunity to ask me questions.
Okay.
We've had some great dialogue, great questions, great community meetings. And it spurred a lot of dialogue. And it's, if nothing else, it's spurred a lot of an assessment of where their fire district is at and what our needs and what we're struggling with.
Right. It seems to be the big issue would be, well, we don't want to spend more money. We
Yes.
don't want to be taxed more money. That would be the obvious indicator. Yeah. And to that, you say, well,
yeah, like I'm the taxpayer as well, and I don't always like to pay more taxes, but when it's reasonable, when it has to do with public safety, right. Probably partially because that's the business that I'm in, I understand it. The thing about a general obligations bond and why we feel it's the wise way to spend tax dollars is unlike your just regular property taxes, the general obligations bond is dispersed over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it not only the residents now that are using our services and need our services and need that emergency protection. The unique thing about a bond is people that move into our area for the next 20 years help pay for some of the services and some of the emergency services that they will receive because of this bond. So it doesn't just tax our current tax base.
Right.
It spreads that cost over future residents that may come into this area, so they're not just benefiting from what our current residents have done.
Right. And it's not just it. It seems like with that over that 20-year period too, it's going to help you not only fix like broken equipment that you've got to the best that it can be, but also then keep up with additional challenges as they come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Into the future. That's a strong point.
Some of the challenges that we're facing is couple of our fire stations, right? There's the fire station that we currently have in Clarkdale. It's not ours.
Brick and mortar and
it's not ours, and it's actually a town of Clarkdale building, and they're not being belligerent about it, but they need that building back.
Oh, really?
We were having a plan based on the lease that we have with them to have a fire station for that community within so many years.
Right.
And I think it was 10 years, and I think it's coming up in about 4 to 5, and it takes about 3 to 4 years to design, build, and construct a fire station from start to finish. So that's one of the projects that we need to know. One of the questions that I get on almost every public meeting, I live in Verde Villages. Why does a fire station in Clarkdale benefit me? I get that question a lot.
Yeah, right.
So here's why. The current fire station in Clarkdale, and then the fire stations that we have around the Verde Valley, they are strategically aligned to have our equipment deployable for the entire region. Right. And the fire station in Clarkdale is not big enough to actually keep all the equipment that we have to deploy for any emergency in our area. Specifically, the Clarkdale fire station is responsible for one of our largest wildland firefighting piece of equipment.
Right.
It is not kept at that fire station. We have a storage facility in Centerville where that fire engine is kept. So if we get a wildfire response anywhere in the Verde Valley or Copper Canyon or Sedona and that unit is needed, the firefighters have to respond to that station. Then they have to switch everything out, pull that truck out, get that truck ready to respond, and then they can respond. Delaying response times of 10 plus minutes, many occasions. So that's why that station, by being able to have all of our equipment there, increases the public safety across the entire Verde Valley Fire District.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I understand that question that the audience member asked, and you kind of get that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, my kids are out of school. Why do I need to pay, school tax? I kind of understand that. But it's also, if the guy on the next street has the fire hydrant, they may need it to fight the fire at your house.
Yes.
So it does benefit everybody, but it's got to be a big picture, and those are the kinds of things that should be asked at these public presentations. All right, we're late for a break, Chief. We need to do that. We'll continue, though. Great information about the general obligation bonds being sought in the upcoming election here, November 4th.
November 4th.
Ballots are in the mail already. You probably already have yours on your counter. Get it filled out. And ask if there's further questions. Can I call you, Chief?
You can.
Contact the district.
All of our information is on verdevalleyfire.org. If you got questions, you wanted more information, we're always available to answer your questions.
Great presentation there. Take a look at it. We'll continue with Fire Chief Danny Johnson after this. It's County Watch. We'll be right back.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
As the days get shorter and the nights cooler, make sure your future is wrapped in the right protection. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686, located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Welcome back to the program. Good information today. Fire Chief, Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson is here, and the district currently out for a general obligation bond, a GO bond, as it is typically called. And there's a lot of things as we start to explore, attend these public sessions, and go online. Again, Chief, give me that address online. There's a real good kind of a what do you call it? Not
We have a presentation.
Photoshop, a presentation that you've made. It's got some good graphics, some great information on there, and online I can see that anytime.
Yes, verdevalleyfire.org, and it'll be under our general obligations tab.
Yeah, real good, real concise, real clear. It'll probably answer a lot of your questions. Beyond that, you can contact the chief in the department and find out more. Okay, so Clarkdale's got that issue. See, I knew nothing about it, and I live in Clarkdale. I thought I knew everything.
Well, we can help.
What are some other, I don't know if I want to say sore spots around the district, but other areas that need care? Or...
Well, we also have 2 other fire stations that are aging. And just like most houses, you have to do upkeep, and you have to do maintenance and upkeep on your houses. Some things that we're looking at for health and safety improvements. Unfortunately, currently right now, at one of our fire stations, the septic system is failing. And so what's happening is a couple times of year, we have sewage backup in the firehouse. When that happens, if something happens where we don't catch it, I have to shut it down for a period of time so I can get it cleaned. Just like you wouldn't want to live in sewage. My firefighters and my office staff don't want to live in sewage either. So we are working to, that's one of the things we need to do. There's a lot of work that has to go to tear up a septic system and rebuild it to get it functional again. One of the other things that we're really looking at for all of our fire stations is, if you look industry-wide in the fire service, one of the biggest things that we're up against is cancer exposures to firefighters. And it's not just in the fires that we fight, where that's one of the major exposures that we have, the toxic smoke and all the hidden chemicals that are off gas in the smoke, even when there's no smoke there after the fire. We're doing a lot of things to mitigate that on how we protect our firefighters on scene. But one of the other things that's come out in our industry is the cross-contamination and the exposures that's inside the firehouse. And there is and there's so much of it that is brought back to the firehouse. And then if you look at most of your firehouse designs, right, you have a gigantic garage that houses your fire trucks, right? And most of those fire trucks are diesel, and diesel exhaust is now a known carcinogen, and we are running that inside of our house. So there's things that we can do to fire stations now that are exhaust removal systems that go in and they make sure that exhaust is not permeating the living quarters and where firefighters are living 24/7.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we need to address with this bond is reduce the exposure to our firefighters just from the tools that we do that we use in our job.
Okay, the devil's advocate is going to say, why don't you just pull out into the driveway
We do.
when that truck's running?
We do pull out to the driveway, but we still have to start it inside.
Okay.
Right.
So so even a minimal.
Yeah, even
kind of
the
thing.
minimal.
Okay, see, I
amount.
thought it was just sitting in there running all day.
No, because even when we don't sit and run them all day long. But so you got to figure if that truck started 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Different
Okay,
calls.
well, yeah,
and you're running, you're
Right.
coming in, you're going out, you're leaving and going.
Right.
That what they're seeing, and when they do the tests and they do the swabs around the firehouse, the walls and the door jams, and it's all permeated
exhaust
with
lingers.
it is all permeated with that exhaust, and what's a carcinogen. So when you look at our fire stations, we're trying to make healthier buildings as well.
Right.
Even in Verde Valley, retirees, and we've had multiple cancer claims from our retirees, and a lot of times we see that in the fire services exposures. Cancer is a big one, right? But you also got to understand when we're running on all these different EMS calls, there is multiple different things that firefighters can be exposed to that are not just carcinogens, right? And so, when firefighters are going bloodborne pathogens, when they're dealing with blood or other bodily fluids,
Right.
and they maybe accidentally step in it or they get it on their clothes they're not aware of, and we don't have an area for them to decon, it cross-contaminates the living quarters.
Right.
What we do is try to get away from very porous surfaces where things can have cross-contamination. So this is stuff that we're learning in our industry years and years and years.
Right.
I can remember when I started 25 years ago, we would just bring stuff back to the fire station, throw it in the bay, and hose it off, and we thought it was good. We didn't know, right? As we get better and we get more educated, so what they're looking at fire stations now is having an area to decon your equipment properly, decon your firefighters properly, so when they're done with the call, they're done being exposed.
Right. And put a lid on it. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. See, this is great, and we've only touched the surface. I know you could probably talk informatively for a long, long time, but we're out of time on our program today. What I get, Chief, after sitting here talking to you for half an hour or so, is that you and your staff have very clearly done some serious homework into very specific things that are needed across the district. And that has to take a lot of planning and a lot of time and education on your parts to kind of do that. All of it to help kind of plead your case that this is really kind of a needed thing. I want the audience, the public, to know that Chief can't say yes or no to this bond. That clearly there's an expressed need for that. So you make your decision now with the information that you've gotten on today's show, and also that you can still get online, Chief. Tell me one more time how to find that presentation.
Yeah, our presentation is on verdevalleyfire.org, and you can find all the information there. And if there's something that you don't find, we're available. Like you said, we've been planning this for multiple years.
Sure.
It's been a 2 to 3 year process of just understanding our community, reading our community's needs, understanding the fire service and the local fire service and what we need. And we feel it's the right time to ask our citizens if they would support us. And our job right now is to educate on why these are needs, and it's up for our citizens to decide if they want to support it or not.
We've heard some good examples of that today. The ballots are in the mail. The election itself is November 4th, and take a look. You've got some information. Get additional information as you need it to make sure you vote responsibly and according to what you want for your community. Our guest today, Verde Valley Fire Chief Danny Johnson. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide. We'll see you next time.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates Locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdisolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
As the days get shorter and the nights cooler, make sure your future is wrapped in the right protection. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686, located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.